Hi, everyone, and welcome to Leaf Rants. Matthew Knies. Kniesy signs a 6-year, $7.75 million contract. This is a signed puck right here by him. And it's a great deal not only for Matthew Knies himself, getting $7.75 million a year for the next 6 years, but it's a great deal for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And Tavares one, just really good. Obviously, Tavares took a huge discount, but Matthew Knies, it might be one of the most reasonable contracts I've seen. He paid. I not see anyone being like, "Oh, discount illusion." Better not see any of that crap. And solid term. He gives the Leafs solid term. It's in Johnson, as it should be, but it's basically in line with the Paterka deal, getting an extra out of it. So, yeah, it's that Matthew Knies wanted shorter term, so it's nice that Brad got that 6th year out of it. His value is $10.1 million this year. 78 games, he had 58 points, a career high, 29 goals, career high, 29 assists, career high, 0.7 points a game, basically 0.7 points a game. Yeah. It's expensive for a guy who's topped out at 58 points, but yet again, it was only his 2nd year in the league. You have to remember that. And he'll continue to get better. I know he will. And this contract will be an absolute steal. There's a fresh graphic on it that talks about how in 3 years, the Matthew Knies deal will be the equivalent of $6 million in this cap today. That is insane for Matthew Knies. 1 in 5 NHL players age 22 or under he's 1 of 5 to score 25 goals with 180 hits in a single season. This guy is a Leaf for a long time, and I hope they can go out and get Brad Marchand. You have that money now just to go out and get Brad and let this guy learn from him. But anyways, let's talk about Knies a bit more. Market value of $10.1 million, get him for $7.75. That is insane of a steal. Well-deserved buy. What I really want to talk about is his combined cap with John Tavares. Because last year, John Tavares was making $11 million. Knies was making $925,000. So they came in at $11,925,000. This year, with John Tavares taking a significant decrease in a hometown discount, and Matthew Knies getting a big increase in his contract, but also keeping it a team-friendly deal, the Leafs have Tavares and Knies have a combined salary cap of, drumroll, $12,134,420, which is an increase of 1.79%, which is nothing. Good work by the Leafs to get like $150,000 extra, $250, whatever, just $200,000, and that's all it took. Yeah, great work by Matthew Knies. Is one of my favorite players on the Leafs, and I'm glad to get this deal done just before free agency kicks off in 2 days. So yeah, he'll slot into that left wing role, I imagine. And the Leafs have holes, but with this deal, they have $13.5 million to work with. With that, David Kampf, actually, you know what? Let's put Ryan Reeves down here because he won't be on the team. He'll be scratched. They have $14,720,000, so just $15 million, and that's still with Calle Yarncroke, David Kampf, and those contracts on the books. So yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do. Another thing I wanted to talk about, now that we get all the Knies stuff out of the way right now, Matthew Knies is going to be insane. To have him for 6 years is an absolute steal, and I love Matthew Knies, and his jersey will have to come up here because the next person we're going to talk about is Mitch Marner. Mitch Marner, there are rumors of a sign and trade with Vegas over Mitch Marner. It's believed that the Leafs would trade Mitch Marner, extended 4 times $12 million for Nick Roy and Nick Hague, possibly, he might be in it, and a possible draft pick. Now, Roy would be really nice to get. That'd be really interesting. I'd probably slot him into that second-line center role, but I mean, there's so many uses that you could win, right? Hague, I don't know, because he's big. He's a 6'6" defenseman. He's a big guy, but it's rumored that he wants to make that he'll probably get around $3 million for his next deal. He's an RFA. It'd be to his rights. And Simone Benoit, we have him here. He makes $1.35 million. He's a solid defender, and I wouldn't want to lose him right now. He has 2 years left on his deal. I just don't see a sense in losing him. They're the same age. They're both 26. I don't know. But Nick Roy would be a good one. You can have a top line of Knies, Matthews, Marchand, or Domi. It's rumored that the Leafs wanted to put Marchand on the top line, but I don't know. I'd probably still put Domi there. You can have Marchand, Roy, Nylander. Roy's more of a playmaking, defensively responsible center, so I'd put him there. McMahon, Tavares. Mangiapane's another guy that's rumored to be in, so I'd probably slot him there. And then Lawton, Kampfer, Yarncroke as a fourth line. Then McCabe, Tanev, Riley, Carlo, Haig, OEL, but I don't know how you get all of this under the cap, and then Wall and Storrs, obviously. But that's kind of what we're looking at right now with the Marner deal and the Marchand and Mangiapane signings. Marchand is rumored to get around 8, and Mangiapane, I think it was allowed around 3.5. But also, if you want to keep John Tavares a second-line center, you could do, I don't know, I'd probably Marchand and Tavares on the same. They're both old. So I'd probably do the Knies, Matthews, Marchand. I don't know. But you could have a Lawton, Roy, blank. Now, what you'd want there is a shooting threat, and you'd have a pretty strong third line. And who's the guy for that? Andrew Pani. He'd be the perfect guy to go there on that third line as a right wing, and I'd lock him there. That's where he would stay. That obviously just a rumor, but it's a rumored that this trade doesn't happen. The Leafs would go after Vegas for tampering. They'd go to sue them or for tampering. I guess it's not really suing, but it kind of is. If this were true, the Leafs would award picks and or money. Potential tampering penalties. Teams face up to a $5 million fine, termination of any contract signed, forfeiting of draft picks, and awarding draft picks and or cash to the offended club. Individuals, so Marner, would face a $1 million fine and suspension or expulsion. That could be Marner. That could be anyone working for Vegas, any of their top guys. So it's interesting to see what could happen. Now, the Leafs have asked for Roy and Haig in return, and maybe put a draft pick in there. But we'll see what happens with that. And it's the Leafs go after Vegas for tampering. They're going to come after us for, I forget what they said, something else. Just another rumor out there. I don't know if that'll happen, but maybe Marner to Vegas isn't the best unless you just trade him. Line center who can put up 30 to 40 points. Significant upgrade in that position, but obviously it's going to be an underwhelming return for Mitch Marner. Everyone's going around saying, hey, Mitch Marner, you're not going to get better after this. I know Nick Roy and Nick Haig are nowhere close to a good return for Marner, but at least it's something. That is what I want the Leafs to get out of this. Something. Marner won't be as hated as everyone says he is. Will Leafs get something for him? If he does this for the Toronto Maple Leafs, he will. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. Matthew Knies is a Leaf for 6 more years, baby. And thanks for watching. If you like this video, please click and subscribe. Always makes me feel pretty good and helps. Let me know what you think about the Knies deal down below. And also let me know about the Marner trade. Would you like to get Nick Roy, Nick Haig, Benoit, and the tampering? That's all very interesting. But thank you very much for watching, and hope to see you in the next one on July 1st.